the upcoming polls or elections, they're going to be tighter than in 2020.
They are, Martin. You're absolutely right. It's not going to be the sort of runaway win that Tsai Ing-wen had back in 2020. We're in for a much tighter race. And bear in mind also that Taiwan has an approach where there's no official polling announced in the 2 weeks prior to the election itself. So as a practical matter, for the month of January, we're not going to know how tight the race is as we come to the final stretch in January the 13th itself.
So, Rupert, let's cut to the chase. At the end of the day, in terms of the results, I know you think that no one is really going to win with a big margin, which leads me to think about a lot of horse trading and coalition politics where nothing really gets done. From the perspective of business, is that good news or bad news?
Well, I think there are significant areas for business where there will be continuity. Let's just say, for argument's sake, Lai Ching-te, who remains in the lead, albeit with a small lead over Hou Yu in the Kuomintang, if he does win, but the parliament, the Li Fa-Yuan, shifts back from the DPP to some KMT-TPP coalition rule, areas of technology policy, domestic technology policy, other social welfare policies, there's continuity there. And certainly international business that engages the government, whether it's through the executive and legislative branches, can expect continuity. But we do expect some differences in opinions between a parliament in one camp and an executive branch in others. Energy policy, for example, Taiwan has some real energy challenges, and the premature closing of the nuclear power plants could exacerbate those. Cooperation with the United States on technology policy, specifically as it relates to China, could be problematic as well. And then, of course, military policy as well. And as you mentioned in the lead up, Ko-Wen-je's commitment to raise defense spending to 3%. But there's quite a significant space between the Pan-Blue Alliance, the Kuomintang, and the DPP over the commitment to defense spending. And given that the legislature is in charge of allocating resources, it could create some real difficulties for the two to come up with a unified position to present to the U.S. that would be acceptable.
Rupert, tell us, it was very dramatic as we had the two opposition camps try to form a coalition ticket. It was a very colorful that unfolded on the television screens when Terry Go had called for a press conference. We thought that a decision has been made for some sort of a joint ticket. If an election was to be held today, who do you think is going to win? Do you think the DPP, that there is some fatigue around this political party?
Well, yes, certainly they are experiencing some significant headwinds after 8 years of rule. There's no doubt about that. That's hard for Lai Ching-te, the DPP candidate, but he's also, as we know, the vice president of the sitting administration, to differentiate what some might argue is a third term for the DPP, and create a new feeling around what his presidency would look like. But to answer the first part of your question, if the election were held today, I think it is likely that Lai Ching-te would win the presidency, yes, possibly by 3 or 4 points there or thereabouts.
If we look to other factors other than cross-strait relations, what would you say would be the most important policies that Taiwan voters are looking to?
I think all politics are local. Forgive me for such a cliched term, but Taiwan voters are particularly anxious around the sorts of issues that we recognize in so many countries around the world. In no order of priority, young people are struggling with wages that aren't rising as quickly as they feel they should. They're struggling with access to affordable housing. You've got disparities in income across the island, which creates tension between different parts of the country. So the sorts of tensions within the election are all too familiar and very domestic. We, of course, in the international community can fall into discussing Taiwan in the context of tensions across the Taiwan Strait or military spending. But for the vast majority of voters on the island, they'll be making a very personal choice about what they feel will most and positively impact their quality of life economically and the upward mobility for their families.
Hi, I'm Emily Tan, and thanks for watching CNBC. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks for watching.